Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the juicy secrets hidden within corporate filings. And let me tell you, Flexsteel Industries Incorporated has some interesting stories to tell. Get ready to see if this furniture maker is sitting pretty or if their balance sheet is a little wobbly. Today we are dissecting Flexsteel's proxy statement from late 2025. And like any good investor, we want to know where the money is going, who is in charge, and if the company is actually performing. It is all about understanding the big picture behind the official language, and we're going to break it down for you. First up, the company is asking shareholders to approve a new board of directors. They are looking to elect 2 directors for a 3-year term. This is pretty standard stuff, but it is always a good sign when a company clearly outlines who is responsible for steering the ship. Then they want your say on executive pay. This is called a say on pay vote. It's not legally binding, but it's a clear signal to the board and management about what shareholders think about how much they're paying their top brass. There is also a proposal to amend their equity incentive plan, which basically means they want to issue more company stock as rewards for their employees. We will dive into the details of that later because it impacts how much of the pie is shared with employees versus shareholders. Now, the company is making these proxy materials available online, which is a smart move to save on printing and mailing costs. They're really leaning into modern tech to be more efficient. Their main office is in Dubuque, Iowa. It's always interesting to see where these companies call home. Okay, let's talk numbers big picture first. As of the 13th of October 2025, they had over 141,000 stock options outstanding. The average exercise price for these options was about $13. Remember, these are options, meaning people have the right to buy stock at a certain price, and they only make money if the stock price goes up. And for future grants, meaning new stock awards they can give out, they had about 84,000 shares left under their 2022 plan. This number will grow if shareholders approve the amendment we mentioned earlier. All of this is against a backdrop of just over 5.3 million shares of common stock outstanding. These are the basic building blocks of the company's ownership. Let's get back to the directors. They are up for election and the company has provided details about their backgrounds. We see names like William S. Crickmore and M. Scott Culbreth nominated for Class III director positions. Mr. Crickmore, with his background in finance and executive search, and Mr. Culbreth, a seasoned CEO in the cabinet manufacturing world. Both seem to bring valuable financial and executive leadership experience. The filing specifically highlights that Mr. Crickmore's experience in corporate finance, accounting, and talent management, along with his background in the home furnishings industry, makes him a strong candidate to contribute to the board's deliberations. Similarly, Mr. Culbreth is noted for bringing his expertise in corporate finance, accounting, and leadership at a public company, which is crucial for guiding Flexsteel's strategic direction. They are looking for directors who have diverse backgrounds and skills. Now, regarding executive compensation, it is important to note that the board will consider shareholder votes on this matter. For fiscal year 2025, the compensation for the top executives shows some interesting figures. Derek P. Schmidt, the President and Chief Executive Officer, earned a total compensation of over $2.4 million. This includes a base salary of $570,000, but a significant portion comes from stock and non-equity incentive plan compensation. David E. Crimmins, Vice President of Sales and Product Management, had a total compensation around $1.02 million for 2025. Michael J. Ressler, Chief Financial Officer, had a total compensation of about $890,000. These numbers reflect a mix of base salary, stock awards, and cash incentives tied to company performance. For the non-chief executive officers, the average total compensation in 2025 was around $958,000. This shows a significant increase from 2024, where the average was a little over $1.1 million. When we look at what is called compensation actually paid, which is a more nuanced calculation, the CEO's compensation in 2025 was over $3 million. For the other named executive officers, the average compensation actually paid was around $1.1 million. This is a crucial distinction because it accounts for the fluctuating value of stock awards over time, giving a more realistic picture of what executives truly earned. It's also worth noting the all other compensation category. For Mr. Schmidt in 2025, this was about $78,000, covering things like tax preparation, supplemental medical benefits, and a furniture program, which is a perk for Mr. Crimmins and Mr. Ressler. These amounts were around $54,000 and $25,000 respectively. These are not huge numbers in the grand scheme of executive pay, but they add up and show the company's commitment to providing a comprehensive benefits package. Now, about that equity incentive plan amendment, the company wants to increase the number of shares available for issuance by 150,000. This is to support their equity compensation program for about 3 to 4 years. The total market value of these additional shares based on a stock price of $43.11 on the 13th of October 25 would be around $6.5 million. It's good to see that the plan doesn't have an evergreen provision, meaning it does not automatically increase the number of shares available. This gives the board more control and ensures that shareholders have a say in how many new shares are issued. Also, they clearly state they will not reprice or exchange outstanding awards. This is a practice that can be seen as unfair to shareholders, as it essentially lowers the exercise price of options retrospectively. So it's positive that Flexsteel is avoiding this. Looking at how the stock options and awards have been used, we see that as of the 30th of June 2025, there were over 593,000 securities to be issued upon the exercise of outstanding options and rights. The average price for these options was about $18. This is a significant amount, and it highlights the importance of equity compensation in their strategy. Also, it's important to note that for some of these awards, like restricted stock units and performance awards, there is no exercise price. This is common as they represent direct ownership of shares under certain conditions. And for future issuance, they had about 48,000 shares remaining under their approved equity compensation plans. This number will increase with the proposed amendment. Let's talk about who owns the company. As of the 13th of October 2025, the directors and executive officers collectively owned over 613,000 shares, representing about 11.2% of the outstanding stock. This means the leadership team here has a pretty significant stake, which is often a good sign as it aligns their interests with those of other shareholders. Derek P. Schmidt, the CEO, owns about 341,000 shares, which is a solid 6.2% of the company. On the shareholder side, we see Carolyn T. Birch-Blyle owning about 446,000 shares, making up 8.5% of the outstanding stock. Then there is Stephen H. Birch with over 410,000 shares, also around 7.8%, and Jeffrey T. Birch with over 310,000 shares, about 5.9%. These large individual holdings, especially within the Birch family, suggest a significant long-term shareholder interest. DFA LP and BlackRock Incorporated are also significant institutional holders. The company spent around $770,000 on audit fees in 2025, which is up from $675,000 in 2024. This is for the annual audit and quarterly reviews. It's important that they have a clear and independent audit to ensure their financial reporting is accurate and trustworthy. Deloitte and Touch LLP is their auditor and seems to be independent, which is always a good sign for transparency and credibility. For any shareholders wanting to propose something for the next meeting in 2026, they need to get their proposals in by the 26th of June 2026. This is a pretty standard deadline for shareholder proposals to be considered. So, what is the verdict on Flexsteel Industries? On one hand, the company is clearly focused on retaining talent through equity incentives and has a board with experienced individuals. The ownership structure showing significant insider and family holdings is positive, suggesting a vested interest in long-term success. They also seem to be mindful of good corporate governance by avoiding practices like repricing options. However, the executive compensation, particularly the compensation actually paid figures, shows a substantial amount tied to equity. While this aligns with shareholder interests, it also means executive pay can fluctuate significantly with stock performance. The increases in compensation and the proposal to increase the share pool for incentives suggest a strategy to motivate and retain while potentially diluting existing shareholders if not managed carefully. Looking at the pay versus performance table, we can see a general alignment between the compensation and financial performance. The total shareholder return and net income have seen ups and downs over the past few years, and executive compensation, particularly the equity-based components, moved with these trends. This suggests their pay for performance model, especially with equity, is working as intended to some degree. My take is that Flexsteel is trying to balance attracting and retaining top talent with shareholder value. The increase in the equity incentive plan is a standard move for growth-oriented companies, but shareholders should keep an eye on the dilution and performance metrics. The company seems to be navigating the market with steady, if not spectacular, growth. The family's significant ownership provides a layer of stability. The key will be how well they execute their strategy and manage the equity compensation to drive both performance and shareholder returns going forward. Alright, That is our deep dive into Flexsteel Industries Incorporated's proxy statement. What are your thoughts on their executive compensation and equity plans? Do you think they're setting themselves up for success, or is there something to be worried about? Let us know in the comments below if you found this breakdown helpful. Please hit that like button. Subscribe for more corporate insights, and don't forget to join our Discord community for discussions and exclusive content. You can find the link in the video description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Corporate Decoder.